In this Friday video, I want to share about apathy. This is a very dangerous emotion to stay stuck in, and been hitting the books today of how to help you, how to help anyone in this space. But I need to start this video off with a quick story. This is a story of a person who tries their best to succeed in life. They do the things, they watch the motivational videos, they put in the time, they put in the hours, they put in the energy, the blood, the sweat, and the tears, and they try so hard to succeed and to be financially independent or have a relationship or even just do one thing right in their life. And life has a way of kicking them down. Life has a way of telling them that you will always be poor. Life has a way of telling them you're wrong for even trying. Eventually, that person is going to stop trying. It doesn't even matter. Why try? Nothing I ever do will ever work. I will never be financially free and independent. And when I say those last words, I feel it deep here in my chest because that was me 3 or 4 years ago. When I met my wife, she looked at me and shook me in the kitchen and said, "We can never be financially independent and free if you are carrying this message inside of you, this story and truth inside of you, that you will never be financially wealthy, that you will never be financially free." Because this was something I was telling myself over and over again. And it didn't even matter how much I tried or what I did, because no matter what I put my time and energy and focus on, I was always finding reasons why to reinforce this idea that I would never be free. So apathy is a dangerous, dangerous position to be in, because why even try? Why does anything even matter? It's all meaningless, and nothing you'll ever do will amount to anything. This is a scary place to be. So if you have a priority list right now, like being wealthy or being successful, or dump it. You need to shift your priorities to getting out of this perpetual state of grayness and dullness, which is apathy. It is a deafening and a drowning place to be in, because it will squash and suffocate anything you will attempt to do. The first thing, the first goal, if you find yourself in this position, is treat it with the direness which it demands. Apathy is but emotion, but it is a suffocating emotion. It is very, very low. If I'm thinking like anger or hate, it's a higher vibrational energy, an emotional energy, than apathy. It's very low movement. If you think about movement, so the first thing we got to do is stabilize. I put it in a video out earlier, and I will I'll post a link up here. And I want you to look at it. These are rescue drills. These are stabilizing drills if you find yourself in an acute situation, but these could also be used for chronic situations: depression, apathy, etc., grief, mourning. The first goal is to stabilize. So I would go through those first 3 or 4 drills or exercises in that video and try to reach a base stabilization. We're not shooting for happiness or excitement or bubbly personality. You don't have to go all Valley Girl through these. You just have to remain stable. Let me look at my notes here. Second thing, okay. Second thing, we need to get out of our head. And by getting out of our head, we need to place our attention outside, onto something tangible that you can touch. So we have a couple of different ways you can do this. My favorite way of getting outside of my head is going for a walk. and observing things as I'm walking, looking at objects or noticing characteristics about that car or seeing that person and their dog. I like to observe things as I'm walking. It gets me outside of me. I'm not just circling the brain. I'm not just circling the thoughts. I'm not circling the apathy. The idea here is stop feeding the cycle of apathetic thoughts and behaviors. We are trying to steal the energy back because the apathy is an emotional energy, and the only way it continues is if we continue to feed it. Getting outside of your head, getting outside physically is a great practical way to stealing that energy and applying that energy elsewhere. Okay? Other ways you could do it. I like just touching things in my room. So I have an office. I'm in the office right now. I have hardware, computer, camera stuff. Just touching something until I feel better. And when I mean better, I don't mean, I'm happy now. Everything's fixed. Valley Girl. It's not, I don't mean by that. I mean, my apathy doesn't feel as deep or as heavy. Heavy. It doesn't feel as heavy and suffocating. It feels a little bit lighter. And you will sense, if you're actually trying this, you will know what I'm talking about when you experience this. If you're just listening and you're not actually applying any of these, this is not going to mean anything to you. But if you actually are doing this, you know when you're carrying 30 pounds versus you know when you're carrying 10 pounds. There's a difference. It will be tangible. You'll know what I'm talking about. Let's also set the stage of what sort of the gradient of emotions you're going to go through. Once you start tugging free of apathy, you will experience a wide range of emotions. So I want to let you know what you might go through, what you might experience, so you don't get confused as to why you are not improving. Anything you can experience above apathy is an improvement. Generally, above apathy, you have stages of grief or mourning. So if you start feeling really sad or sorrowful or crying, that's okay. Don't be afraid. This is just observe and acknowledge where you're currently at and what you're feeling. Don't deny it or believe it's wrong. Give it its recognition and allow it to pass through. Like, allow its place and just let it pass through. Okay? You don't have to force the pace on this. This is a gradual process. Beyond grief, you might get into like, it might be different flavors of anger or hatred or resentment, or maybe all three. You might go through a little range where you're angry at the world. And being angry at the world is a hell of a lot better place to be than apathetic towards the world or apathetic towards your life in general. I'd rather you be angry or sad than apathetic. So it's okay to experience this. This means you're improving. Your mood, your emotions are improving. And beyond that, there's generally pain. Generally, pain is below all of this, but it's just so buried that you can't ever see it at first glance or experience the pain at first glance. So pain, get to pain, you're good too, right? We want you to feeling anything more than apathy. The next thing I would be doing, so we just did a highlight of the possible ranges you could go through of emotions. Anything above apathy is better than apathy. So get to a different place and recognize that place and acknowledge that place and honor it, giving it its due time and presence in your life. Before that, we just talked about getting exterior of your mind, so you're not trapped and you're taking energy away. The next thing is looking around your room, like your room, whether it be your office, whether it be your living room, but find a room that is mostly filled with your stuff. And this is important because the next exercise I would generally have someone walk through is asking them two polar opposite questions. What in this room can I have? And what in this room might I refuse to have? I just ask these questions rapid fire. Pop, pop, pop. What can I have in this room? What in this room might I not have? What in this room might I have? What in this room might I refuse to have? And answering each question. Find something in your room that you already have. This is already your room. And answering these questions. And it seems silly at first, but the idea here is the drill previous to this, the exercise previous to this, is we're getting outside. We're taking the energy off of the apathetic emotion. So we're starving it of energy. And we're putting it on outside objects. That's not here. This next part is we are thinking, what can I possibly have? We're connecting back with our immediate surrounding. We're connecting to reality. Apathy, generally, if you think it like a turtle, they hunch in, sheltering themselves, protecting themselves, shelling up from the outside world. And this is our way of getting out of the turtle shell, connecting back to in a comfortable situation, in a comfortable room, a context that you know is already yours. Like, you know intellectually that this room, your stuff is already your stuff. So you reconnect. You're reconnecting back to reality. Once you've done this, we need to establish control in some way, shape, or form. We need to establish control, however big, however small, of our life. Generally apathy also, because we're shelling in up here, we're shelling in because life is so big and nothing I do matters because you don't have any effect upon your world, your reality. So we need to gain some ground in affecting our reality. We need to be able to cause an effect in our reality. This is why, if you listen to Jordan Peterson or if you've heard of any of his older stuff, he was like, conquer the dragons, slay the dragons you can kill. And his example was to just make your bed in the morning. Like, if you can't do anything else in your life or make any sort of forward progression in your life, just make your bed. That's doing something which you can win at. I have an example that you can even go smaller. Simply take a coffee cup. And guys, I'm going to use a coffee cup in a lot of my practical drills. Just enjoy it. I like it because it's fun. Take a coffee cup, find 2 points, 2 distinct areas on your desk or your table or your counter, and simply move your coffee cup from one area to the other area. Before you pick it up from one area, make the decision, I'm going to move this coffee cup to the other area. So you're making a decision and you're immediately executing that decision. So you are controlling the reality on this coffee cup. You are controlling this, you are deciding it, and you have to be very clear before you pick up that coffee cup. You have to tell yourself, I am going to move this coffee cup. Specifically that language, because this is a decision in present time and right now that I'm going to do this, and then you do it. I'm going to do this, then you do it. And you do this until you feel better. Again, not happy, not excited, not bubbly personality here, just better. Anything beyond apathy, this will help you get out of it, because we're connecting back to our immediate reality with the drill I just said about finding things in your room that you can or cannot have. Then you exert control over a small piece of that reality. I do coffee cups because it's easy and it's funny. You could do anything else in your room, but just make sure you can touch it. And then you move it between two distinct points back and forth until you feel better. Once you get to this point, I would literally just recommend staying here for a week or two, doing this a little bit each day. Don't do too much. You're not in a race or in a marathon. Do this for a week or two. Try to get out of apathy in this sense. Okay? We're trying to feel the sadness. We're trying to feel the anger or the pain or the hatred. We're trying to feel anything above apathy. Once you get into that, I have emotional practicing drill, like an emotional freedom video I put out there. I'll put another link up here. Go through that. Do emotional stretching. This builds emotional flexibility and strength. So where you can start taking a coffee cup and start practicing emotions back and forth with this coffee cup, and what you're doing is you're building your emotional muscles. So that way your emotions, you realize that their emotions are not because they're an effect of the world around you. They're your decisions. You can make whatever emotion you want to make, and you can make it at any time you want to make it. And the coffee cup is a great exercise to try and practice and gain this realization on. And you just do this until you feel better, right? Only now would I say revisit your actual priorities. Revisit your actual priorities and revisit if they're actually true for you. And while you're doing this sort of rehabilitation from apathy, be very aware of things that are feeding into your life that are telling you that you should feel apathetic. Be very aware of voices or opinions or outside like news outlets or whatever you have involved in your life that is telling you that you should feel a certain way. Be very wary of that. And my recommendation, get rid of that shit. Get rid of it. It won't help. It will only try to get you to divert all your energy into recreating apathy. So that is the breakdown. I know this was a little bit longer video than my normal morning riffs, but I believe with this subject, it's very important that we handle it with great care, because I don't want to fuck up anyone's life with this information. I want you to be free. I was deep in apathy just even 4 or 3 years ago. I wouldn't want this on anybody. It is a dark and dim and a hopeless position. And you can be free. And I'm not going to be over here hyping you up. It is going to take some work. But I believe in you, because I believe that you are more capable than you even know yourself. And I know it's kind of a little cheesy to say, but trust me, when you get out of this apathetic woods, you start getting higher and higher, and you start seeing above the mountains. You will see exactly what I mean, my man. So I hope you all the best. I hope you all the freedom. And if you ever want to step through any of these drills or exercises to kind of get the taste of them, just shoot me a DM on X, and we can find the time. And this will be helpful for me. I know it will be helpful for you. You have a good one, okay, guys? Take care.